Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel. My name is Heather. I am a styling, skincare, hair care, self-care enthusiast. I don't have any training in anything. I just have people ask me questions sometimes about things, so I figured I would just start a YouTube channel to share my thoughts. So today what I wanted to talk about is how I put together little goodie bags for flight staff when I am lucky enough to go on flights. So first of all, why am I even suggesting such a thing? It seems like such a random thing for people to do. If you haven't done it before, if it's never occurred to you, if you don't have friends or family in the airline industry. So a lot of different industries were hit pretty hard by the pandemic, the panini, as some people have been calling it. And so the airline industry was hit pretty good, and it's not the industry necessarily that I want to sort of reward, but because it's like all the bigwigs at the top are the ones that are kind of causing the problems, like overbooking flights and putting conditions together that cause flights to be canceled and not paying people what they're worth and all this other stuff. But it's the people that actually love air travel and love piloting planes and love helping people get to their destinations. Those people, they're just regular people, and they really have gotten kind of a crap sandwich throughout this whole thing, because I don't know if any of y'all have been to an airport lately, but there's a lot fewer people that are working, either because the airline doesn't want to pay people a good wage, so there's fewer people that are there, or they want people to work ridiculous shifts that they can't work, or there's a lot of short staffing problems. There's a lot of strikes going on, which is workers are trying to get fair working conditions, and so there's just a lot of crap happening at the airport, I think. I personally would rather be charged a little bit more for a ticket and make sure that everybody is getting paid a living wage, and carbon's being offset, although that's a whole other kettle of fish, and all of that kind of thing. So if I could, I would make goodie bags for every single person that I encounter in the airport. But I don't have enough luggage to do that, and I don't have enough disposable income to do that. So I really wish I could do it for everybody. But the reason I've chosen the flight staff specifically is because they, a lot of people, when you're actually in the airport, you have somewhere else to go, right? You can go cool off over here. You can go talk to another person. You can go into another line. There's recourse, right? You can go other places. When you're in a plane, the only people you have to talk to about any issues are flight staff that are staffing the plane. And so, people get very frustrated when they travel, throughout the air. And, some people, not everybody has a good heart all the time with everything. And so, the air staff are just sort of stuck in these tin cans with us when people sometimes are just not at their best, and are they're upset and they want to vent to someone, and maybe they're being entitled about something, maybe they're just cranky, maybe who knows what the reason is. But the point is, air staff get a lot of crap when they're in the air. They get people yelling at them and screaming at them and accusing them of things, and just all kinds of nonsense, right? So another reason that I've chosen to do these bags is because I'm in a women-only travel group on Facebook, and it's just something that's been mentioned. There's a ton of flight attendants in that group, and I just when I heard about it, I just thought it was a cute idea. And so what those flight staff often say, that airline themed gifts are really cute for them. So anything with a plane on it or about travel or something. When you look online or anywhere really to try to find a lot of those things in bulk, it can add up pretty quickly. And also everybody has sort of their own definition of what's appropriate, what's classy, what's cheap, what's not. And I never found things that I would feel really good about giving to people, because it just wasn't up to sort of the standard with me having to get them in bulk that I would want to give to other people. So what I decided to do instead is put together little goodie bags of things that can be sort of used and be done. By the way, what's happening with my hair up here? I think it's because this is sock curls day 4, and now I just have all these frizzies on the top of my head. Okay, this is fine. Anyway, so my mom is usually pretty good at giving gifts. Both my parents are very generous people, and she doesn't like to give things that are sort of oh, now I have to find a place to put that. It feels like an obligation when you give something to her anyway, sometimes. When you give somebody something and it's well, now where is this gonna live? I need a spot put this? Is it just going in a drawer? Is it like, what is it doing? So I figured it would be a good idea to just give things that people can use and be done with, and you know, maybe sort of pamper themselves a little bit when they are wherever they are. And so you'll see what I mean by that in a minute. So that's sort of why I decided to make these bags. Oh, another thing is flight staff don't get paid until the airplane doors are closed. So, you know, loading is taking a long time for people, you know, baggage is taking a long time. It's taking a long time to get off the plane. None of the flight staff like that either, because they don't get paid when that's happening because the doors aren't closed. So they don't want to sit on the tarmac. They don't want to, you know, be in the, well, maybe they want to be in the air a little bit longer because of the pay structure, but like they don't want to be on a flight for 10 hours that's supposed to be 6. Nobody wants that, right? So I just thought it would be a nice thing to do to give to people, you know, if I can afford to when I'm getting on a plane. So the way I plan this out is I have 3 to 4 bags for domestic flights and like 6 to 8 bags for international flights. So when I went to Europe last month, I had 7 flights total over the course of my trip. I could not bring enough bags to give to everybody. Number one, that would cost way too much money, I think. And number two, I brought a carry-on suitcase, and you have to think about where are these things gonna go in your suitcase, especially for the way home. You have to have room for all the bags in your bag so that, you know, you can just put them all together and take them out and give them out when you're going home. So what I sort of banked on was the space that the bags were taking up was more space for souvenirs, because I tend to buy a lot when I'm on vacation. And that worked out pretty well. They are really, a lot of airlines are cracking down on the number of bags that you can have sort of getting on the plane. I have to sneeze. Sorry. All right. Y'all know I don't edit, so that's probably staying in there. Sorry, not sorry. Okay. So I actually had somebody because I have this bag that you can like stuff into itself, and then it's like a little thing that sort of clips on to whatever your carry-on actually is. So I had one time in Florida, I had that bag. I had these bag of bags to give out. I had my actual personal item and my actual carry-on. And so 2 of the things could fit into the bag that sort of expands. But the airline person that when I was getting on the plane, she was like, you have 4 bags. And I'm like, no, I don't really have 4. These can go in here. Anyway, so they can get very persnickety about that because these are the rules that they have to follow. This is the room that they have. These are the safety things that they have to do. And so it kind of just, it is what it is, right? So I usually hand these bags out when I am first walking on the plane. So whichever flight staff person I see first, I hand them a bag of bags and I say, hey, I made some goodie bags for the flight staff. And they usually disperse them. Often they ask what seat I'm sitting in. If I were truly altruistic, I'd be giving these to the flight staff when I get off the plane. But I've also heard that, because I made a post in the group, it's a long story, that I've heard from flight staff that they're like, we want the chance to thank you for doing something like that. So it's totally fine to give it to us when you're walking on the plane. So I thought that was kind of nice. And while I don't do this to get anything from anybody, I'm not looking for anything in return except maybe a thank you. I've gotten a lot of swag from doing this. I've had flight staff give me like the personal care bags that they give out in first class. I've gotten multiple alcoholic drinks, extra snacks, just sort of preferential treatment for doing this. And again, this is not why I do it. I'm doing it because I like giving people gifts. I like being nice. I like putting them together. I like figuring out what to put in them. But you do get some cool stuff if you end up giving those to people. So let's move on here, and I want to show you what I actually put in the bags. So the thing that takes up the most room here is going to be tissues. So it's like, I know this doesn't seem like much, but when you have 6 or 8 bags with tissues in it like this, it really does add up in whatever bag you have it in. So these often take up the most room, but people do seem to appreciate getting them. And you'll see I have a sticky note on here that says thank you and love Heather, right name. And then there's a hashtag for the group that I'm in on Facebook. So, you know, if they don't know what that is, that's totally fine. But if they do know what it is, they can be like, oh, and they can look it up. Sometimes I'm afraid people think I'm like a multi-level marketer or like trying to recruit somebody for some scam or something. But nobody's ever expressed that so far. So that's nice. So the first thing is the first thing I have in here is tissues. I mentioned before having a little sort of relaxing spa day to yourself. And so when you're flying around, like you don't have the time or the space or the energy to do that sometimes, but I thought this could be like a cute little thing to sort of put together. So I'll show you. So one of the things I give out to people is individually wrapped Motrin. When you're putting these things together, you have to be careful to give things that, you can't give stuff that's homemade. It has to be like commercially packaged and sealed. Everything has to be sealed, otherwise they can't accept it. So so the tissues are sealed, and now the Motrin is sealed. So like, you can pop a couple of Motrin, right? And then if you want to, or when you're in the air, whatever you'd like. I have different flavors of Orbit gum. So I got three flavors of these in one bag. It's this giant bulk bag of like 200 pieces of gum. So I give one piece of each flavor. So you have your Motrin, maybe you pop your gum. Maybe instead of popping your gum, you make a cup of tea. So I really love the Republic of Tea. I order from them all the time. I've done a video on them before. But you actually, it's funny, you can't get these individually wrapped tea bags in bulk from the Republic of Tea. I have to order them from Amazon, which is annoying. With my dad being a packaging engineer, and he used to work for, he worked for Lipton a long time ago. And so each one of these tea bags, like with the wrapping, is something like 40 cents. And he's like, that's a terrible return on tea bags. Like, that's not how much a tea bag should cost. But because you have to get them individually wrapped, it kind of just is what it is. You have to pay for the convenience. So I just like to make sure I have 2 or 3 different flavors for people when I give these out. So organic mint fields. I'm not a huge fan of mint tea, but whatever. Decaf British breakfast. I also don't like British breakfast tea, but that's fine. Get relaxed. I think I've had this before. This is an herbal tea. So this person's getting 3 decaf teas, but that's okay. If you're having your spa day, then you might want to relax. Let's say you want to sort of take the day off your face. I also tend to get these makeup remover wipes. So I used to get Neutrogena ones, and it's been hard lately to find the individually wrapped Neutrogena wipes in a bag. Although when I do find them, they're actually pretty affordable. I'll tell you about all the prices for all these things once I'm at the end of the video here. So it's just nice, like, if you can't actually wash your face, at least you can kind of, I don't know if anybody of you, this seems like a non sequitur, I promise, there's a path in my head. I don't know if any of you have ever been in the hospital before. I had an emergency appendectomy years and years ago, and so I was in the hospital for a long weekend, like 2.5 days, 3.5 days, and you end up feeling like garbage, right? You can't really do anything. You can't get out of your bed, like, except to go to the bathroom, and you feel like you can't clean up. Like, you just feel icky, right? Even if you're not the type of person to shower and wash your hair every single day, like, you just start to feel icky. And so my mom brought me like some baby wipes and some like just, cleansing wipes like this. And in the middle of the weekend, I was just able to kind of rub my face and like, rub myself down a little bit. And I felt so much better after a change of clothes than I did before. And so I can imagine that being on a plane and being stuck in that tin can and not being able to do anything. Maybe you have to turn around really quick and go somewhere else. You want to kind of refresh yourself and feel a little bit better. I think these really help. So the bag that I purchased, this was 50 of them individually wrapped. So because every time I kind of buy the supplies, I end up making 24 bags. I'm able to put 2 of these in each bag. Another sort of spa adjacent thing is I found these little teeny tiny lip balms. So I get 12 of these baby lip balms for like $9 or $10. And so, it's tiny, it's travel size. This one is Bing cherry flavored. So, you cleanse your face, you have your tea going, you put on your lip balm, and then finally you put on your eye masks. So these guys are great. I get a pack of 20 of these for like $11, which I think is a great value. They're individually wrapped, they're pretty. And so you can just put them on your eyes and sit back and relax a little bit in the 5 minutes that you have before getting on your next flight. The final thing I have, by the way, is a shout wipe, which I just think these are useful. I wanted to find something else to put in the bag. When I did the bags previously, I feel like I put something else in there besides a shout wipe, but for the life of me, I can't recall off the top of my head. Sometimes I'll also, my dad, the factory he runs packages liquid IV, so he's given me those sometimes to put in the bags, but sometimes I don't have enough of them. He also packages individually wrapped hand sanitizers, so sometimes I'll put them in the bags, but everybody has hand sanitizer now, so I don't really prioritize that. But yeah, so that's everything I put in the bag. So we've got the tissues, we've got the eye masks, the shout wipe, the tea bags, come on, get in there. We've got the lip balm, the makeup remover wipes, the gum, and the Motrin. And so I've actually had flight staff come up to me before and say, I've been looking for bags to make for my friends and I didn't know what to put in them. And now I have a good idea of what to put in them. Sorry, my cat he's playing with like a tiny piece of his own food. He's a strange child. So now how much these bags end up costing. So I buy almost everything on Amazon. I've bought things off of Costco for them before, but like Costco's kind of hit or miss for exactly what they have in the store. Because I use my mom's Costco card, I can't order online. She can order for me, but that's like a whole, so I'll order on Amazon, it's fine. So the bags end up costing usually between like $4.50 and $5.50 a piece. I can get, I think it's a 16 pack of tissues for like $20, so they're kind of a bigger ticket item. Plus if I'm making 20 to 24 bags at once, like the numbers don't add up. So like I have a whole bunch of extra tissues right now for the next time I make the bags. I have a crap ton of, Orbit gum because I bought a giant bag of 200 of them, so I have plenty of that left. Yes, so Kleenex for 16 of them is something like $20. The Motrin was like only like $7 for I think it was 50 individually wrapped packs. 50 of these makeup remover wipes was like $7-ish. The lip balms are 12 for $10. The eye masks are 20 for about $12. The tea bags are 50 for about $16. So when you do the math, the shout wipes were 24 of them were like $8 or $9. So when you add everything up and do the division, it was I think it was about $5 a bag. So this is not something everybody can do all the time. It's not something I can do all the time. I totally understand that these things cost money. You don't want to add another $150 to your trip because there's various reasons why people don't want to do that, which is totally fine. I talked to one of my coworkers about it, and she wanted to do something, and she's like, "Well, I don't have time to put everything together. Do you think they'd be okay with like a Starbucks gift card?" And it's like, I think anybody that's a nice human being is going to be happy with anything that you do. So like, don't feel obligated to put some big thing together. If you want to do something for the flight staff, then here's how I do it. If you don't want to do something for the flight staff, I think that's totally okay. No, they're never actually expecting anyone to give them anything. But in case this is something you think is cute, or maybe you want to do it, then I just wanted to explain how I do it and why I do it. So I try to do this on every flight that I have that I can. Again, with that Europe trip, I couldn't do it for every flight, but I did do it coming and going from Miami for work a couple of weeks ago. And I'm probably going to be going to somewhere else for work in January, and I'm sure I'm going to do it then because I definitely have to fly there. So anyway, if anybody has any questions about anything, of course, put them down in the box below. And other than that, I hope you have a super awesome rest of your day. Thanks so much for tuning in.